Today I'm going to show you how to make a lined apron. I made this using 100% cotton fabric, pink with white polka dots, with 100% cotton white lining on the back. It has a neckband and 3 pockets. 1, 2, 3. I just love it. It's so cute. And you know me, I love pink. Wait till you see how I use painter's tape to make sewing this apron easier. Let's get started. Take your favorite apron and fold it in half and get the straps out of the way. And then I traced it just about a ½ inch bigger than my apron so that I would have room for seam allowances. And then after I did that, I cut it out. And this is my original pattern that I used when I did that Sew Purple to End ALZ 22, that purple apron I made. But I made a new one so that you could read it easier. And you can go ahead and pause the video here so that you can copy down the measurements. I put where the straps go, where you place the pocket, and you place it on the fold of your fabric when you cut it out. If you don't want to do it this way, I have this pattern here that's an Easy Stitch and Save M4958, and I used pattern C, but I did not use the bias binding because we're going to do a lining with this fabric. And this is almost exactly the same as my apron. You would just need to fold where this fold is, but you can see this is about the same size. It's just a little off right there, but the same length. And if you like the rounded corners like I do, you can just take something round like this and stick it on and draw a curve and cut it to create a more rounded edge. So that's how I came up with this pattern, but you can use any pattern apron that you like or copy one of your own. Okay, to get started, you'll cut out all your pieces. You'll cut 2 of the apron parts, one with the main fabric and one with the lining fabric. 1 pocket 19 by 25 inches, 2 side straps cut 4 inches by 29 inches, and 1 neck strap cut 4 inches by 20 inches. Here is my lining fabric, and here's my main fabric. We'll set these aside because we're going to work on the straps first. You'll have 2 straps for the sides and 1 strap for the neck. So get out your ironing surface, and we're going to take the straps and put wrong sides up. Okay, to start off, we're going to take our strap and we're going to fold over about a ½ inch on one end, so we'll have a nice finished edge on that end. Fold it in toward the wrong side, and then we're going to fold wrong sides together so we can get a crease down the middle. Iron that all the way down, fold it exactly in the middle to get a crease so we know where to fold our strap. And this end doesn't need to be finished because it's going to be inside the seam of the apron. So then we bring that back, and now we have a crease that we can use to know where to fold. And then we're going to take this edge and we're going to meet it in the middle, right there. And go all the way down, just like that, all the way to the end. And then do the other side exactly the same way. Let's wet it with a little bit of water. Fold that to the center and iron it all the way down. We're just going to fold it together and iron it all the way down. There, that's done. Now we have finished edge and the unfinished edge. Now do your other strap exactly like this one. And then your next strap, you don't have to do a finished edge because both of these edges are going to be inside the apron. So you just do this the same way. You just find your center and then fold this here and fold this here, iron it and fold it like that for your next strap. And now we're going to go to the sewing machine and do a top stitch on both sides of each strap. going to use my edge stitching foot that has the little flange right there that holds the fabric right there, so that my top stitching will be nice and even all the way through. So I'm going to line this up, move my needle where I want it, and do a fixed stitch or a back stitch and just sew all the way down. Do a fixed stitch. And now we'll do the other side. Fixed stitch. Do a fixed stitch. There. Now top stitch all of your straps. Okay, we've got all of our straps top stitched. Now set those aside while we make the pockets. Okay, now we're going to take our pocket piece that is 19 inches this way and 25 inches this way. And we're going to fold it in half, right sides together like this. And now we're going to just pin on this edge. And we're going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance right here along this edge. Okay, we finished sewing the edge. Now we're going to turn this pocket right side out. And then you want to fix this seam near the bottom on the back of the pocket. Okay, after you turn it right side out, you want to position the seam so it's going to be at the bottom of the pocket, so that when we turn it over, this will be the bottom and you won't see the seam at all on the front of your pocket. So position it at the bottom which is going to be the back of the pocket down here, and give that a quick iron to keep it in place. And put a nice crease up here at the top too for your pocket. Okay, lay the front of your apron out on your table, right sides up. And you have your pattern. You measure from here to here, that's 5 inches. So 5 inches down is where we're going to place our pocket. So we can just measure 5 inches down. 5 inches down. Right there. So mark that on your apron, and then get your pocket, and you want to place it where you can see the seam. This is going to be on the back side. So turn it over and place that seam at the bottom of your pocket and line up the top with that mark we just made. So we have the pocket lined up with the seam. Where you can see the seam is underneath, so this way you don't see it on the top. And now we're going to go and we're going to do a top stitch right here along the bottom of our pocket. So we'll just put some pins in along the bottom. Okay, now we're going to do a top stitch from here to here. Okay, the pocket is sewn at the bottom. Now we're going to mark where we want to split our pockets up. So I'm going to mark over about 8 inches. 8 inches here. And then I'm going to mark it with chalk. Now I'm going to sew on this line and sew on this line to create 3 pockets. Okay, I'm going to start sewing from the bottom of the pocket up to the top of the pocket using a straight stitch. I'm going to line up my foot right there, and I'm going to do a fixed stitch. When I get to the end, I'll do a fixed stitch. Sometimes sometimes I like to go a little bit over and go back to just reinforce the pocket at the top. And go back forward. And then do that on this one, and then meet me back at the cutting table. Okay, we've sewn our pockets on and sewn the size of our pockets. We sewn these 2 lines here and down here. Now we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to trim off the excess part of the pocket. I always like to make it a little bigger just to make sure I have enough to go from side to side, just in case. Okay. Now, just to keep everything in place, I'm going to do a stitch right here on the edge just to hold this in place, and over here on this edge too, just very close to the edge, as close to the edge as you can get. Okay, now we've sewn the edges to hold everything in place. Now we're going to mark where we put our straps. You can take your pattern and mark right there where the straps go. Now I have a unique way of how I attach the straps and hold them in place. We're going to start with our neck strap, and we're going to make sure we don't twist it. And it's going to go like this. Right there and right there. Pin that in place. Pin that in place. And now with the side straps, you're going to make sure you take the raw edge, leave the finished edge out, because that's going to be at the end of your strap. So this is the raw edge. We're going to place it here. Pin it in place. Fold it back out of the way. Take the other strap, get the raw edge here, and place it right there. Pin that in place, and then fold this like that. And then I like to use painter's tape to hold everything in place. That, and then I'll tape this down and this down. Okay, now that we got all that tape down, we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we're just going to tack these on at the edge. Tack this on here, here, and here to hold it in place before we put the lining on. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine. I'm just going to sew right on the very edge of this strap, this strap, this strap, and this strap, and we'll be right back here to show you how we add the lining. Okay, I reinforced the straps on the edge here and over here, and I added a little bit more tape to keep this down. It was starting to come off. So now we're just going to take our lining piece. We're going to place it right sides together. And we're going to leave an opening here at the bottom, about 4 inches, to be able to turn it right side out after we sew it all the way around. So I'm going to leave an opening right here. Finish pinning it all the way around. Okay, we got this pin. Now we're going to go sew. Starting here, go all the way around. Stop right here, and then meet me back over here to turn it right side out. Okay, we've sewn it all the way around, leaving an opening here to be able to turn it. So now what we need to do before we turn it right side out, we need to clip our corners. Clip our corners without cutting our stitches, and clip this corner, and then go in and clip around the curve like this without going into your stitches so it'll lay nicely. So do that on that curve and on this curve. And I like to trim the curve at the bottom too, just so it lays nicely. Okay, now that we got our curves clipped and our corners clipped, now we're ready to turn it right side out. And having that tape hold everything makes it so much easier to sew without the straps getting in your way. Turn it right side out, remove all the tape. If I'm doing a lot, sometimes I save this and use them over and over again until they're not sticky anymore. Push out your corners. And there we have our apron. Now we just have to give it a nice press, tuck in these edges here at the bottom nicely, and then iron this nice and flat, and then we're going to do a top stitch starting here and going all the way around, top stitching the entire apron. We're all done. Isn't it cute? I love it. I love aprons. They come in so handy for so many different things, more than just cooking. I use aprons especially for cooking, and I also use them for painting, for doing projects, and when I watch my grandchildren, these come in very handy to wear, so I can keep a bottle in here, or burp cloth, or a diaper, or the little pacifiers. And it keeps me from getting spit up on my clothes. So there's so many reasons you can wear an apron. So comment below and tell me how you use your aprons. If you like my videos, check out this video right here. I think you'll like it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a so blessed day. Bye for now.